8:10 here on Nightlife, and this Sunday, 30th of May, marks World Multiple Sclerosis Day. And while prevalent in the West, this invisible illness is not as common in Singapore. And to get a glimpse into the life of those living with multiple sclerosis, or MS, we have Shannon Hyo, who is an advocate for those with multiple sclerosis as a survivor herself.
Hi, Shannon. Welcome into CNA938. How would you describe MS to the people around you?
Okay, do you want an analogy or do you want the scientific facts about MS?
Let's start with an analogy, something simpler for people to understand.
Okay, two things. First thing, MS is what we call a snowflake disease. So that's not to say that we are all snowflakes, because some of the MS patients that I know are the strongest people around. So saying that MS is a snowflake disease just means that none of us are exactly the same in terms of our symptoms. So I came across this analogy a couple of years when I was just diagnosed with MS. So they say that having MS is the same as being like a water hose with holes in it. So a water hose with holes, so Holes. So it's like the information that needs to be transferred from your brain to other parts of the body. It's like water being transported from a holy hose, which means that water leaks out from all the holes so that none of the information, but only part of the information from the brain is transmitted to the rest of your body. Yeah, so that's the analogy part.
I see. Okay. So what's the scientific part?
Okay, so scientifically in MS, our body produces antibodies that attack the central nervous system. So by that, I mean the brain and spinal cord. So specifically, these antibodies that are produced actually target myelin, which is this fatty substance that sort of protects or insulates our nerve cells. So, our nerve cells conduct electrical impulses or chemical information from the brain. But after each MS attack, there is actually this formation of a scar or some sort of plaque, like a sclerotic plaque, we call it. Hence the term multiple sclerosis. I mean, for me, I have multiple plaques and multiple sclerotic plaques in my brain. So that's why it's called multiple sclerosis, I guess. Yeah.
So what were the symptoms you experienced before you knew that something wasn't right?
Okay, I was constantly bumping into walls because of my proprioception, which is, I think I have problems with the perception or awareness of how I move or how I position my body. So these were actually affected. I also had this weird feeling that my limbs were out of control, and I had a feeling that someone else was controlling my limbs, or that suddenly certain parts of my body would just disappear and I cannot feel it. I know it sounds weird, I know. I don't even know how to describe this experience to you because it's so out of the world and so surreal, yeah.
Yeah, I think you described it quite aptly. I mean, it sounds very scary indeed.
It is.
Not having control of your own body, right? I mean, I think everyone can kind of like imagine how that feels like. And you once shared that you had to go through a few doctors before being accurately diagnosed. Do you think there are many people in Singapore who aren't properly diagnosed with MS?
Okay, with all due respect to all the doctors who have worked very hard in the past year or so to keep us safe, right? Yes. And I think it's not because of anybody's failure. I think it's simply because the signs that we have are generally just very general. It's something like fatigue, or I feel very painful. I don't know how this feeling is like. It's just like weird feelings or weird signs like mine, which is not very telling of, what the actual condition is. Yeah.
So receiving a diagnosis like this is a very daunting experience. So how did your perspective of life change after that?
Okay, it was daunting for sure. And, I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the signs of grief, but when you lose somebody, or I guess go through a significant change in your life, like something like, receiving a diagnosis like this, you go through like the seven steps of grief. So at first I was really shocked. I was in denial. Like, how can it be me? It can't be me. Is something wrong with the doctor's diagnosis? And then there was the pain and guilt. Like, what did I do wrong? Is it something that I did? During work, was I exposed to something? All these feelings. And then after that, it was the anger. So that was the hardest part, like the anger that came, because I wasn't angry with God. I was just angry with people around me because everybody was so supportive of me. And But there I was, I don't know, I guess wallowing in the shock and the grief of having to receive this diagnosis. So there was all anger. But then after a while, I suppose, when you are headed downwards, you can't go down any further. You have to go up. So I guess after that, I started the upward turn and then working through, what this means, accepting the fact that I have this disease. And by acceptance, I don't mean you just simply get over it. It means that I've acknowledged that this is what it is. And I've moved forward to accept the new norm for me. So I suppose perspective of life change after this diagnosis. I guess I've always believed that everyone is here on earth to serve a purpose, no matter what cards you've been dealt. And I think my diagnosis has made me even more determined to serve this purpose. And in my case, I think it is to help others and to speak up for the MS community in Singapore, and to slowly create more MS awareness, and I guess also to inspire others to show more kindness to everybody else in general, because everyone is fighting their own battles, whether it's an invisible disease like MS or any other personal challenges. Yeah, so that's about it.
And what was your journey to acceptance like? I mean, is there such a thing as you have reached acceptance?
I think so, because I always say MS is my friend. I've accepted that this is going to be part of me, whether I like it or not. If I don't like it, I'm not going to get rid of it. So either I live with it, accept it, or I have to do it. Yeah, no way out.
Right. So what made you accept that you were going to live with it?
I think it's the support from my family, especially my parents and my husband. I think seeing that they are so determined to help me and support me with like my family life, the kids and all that. I think that made me realize that, you know how people say we have to live for ourselves and not for others. But I think that's partially wrong, because in my case, I live not just for myself, but for my family and for my parents and kids, I suppose. So I think they are the turning point for me, because they were there for me. And if they are not giving up on me and supporting me in every way possible, how can I give up on myself and just wallow in pity or allow myself to, just give up? Yeah.
She's a multiple sclerosis or MS survivor, or multiple sclerosis fighter, as she herself puts it as well. Shannon Hyo is with us on Nightlife, and she's a veterinarian who was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2010, but has managed to, I suppose, manage the condition quite well. And she continues to share her experience with us coming up on CNA938. Before that, just a reminder that there is an accident, AYE towards Tuas before Clementi Avenue 6 exit. We're talking about multiple sclerosis today on Nightlife, because it is World Multiple Sclerosis Day this Sunday, 30th of May. And while it is prevalent in the West, this invisible illness is not as common in Singapore. And we continue to chat with Shannon Hyo, who is an advocate for those with multiple sclerosis, as a survivor or an MS fighter herself.
What is it like to live with MS?
What is it like to live with MS? Okay.
What are some of the daily challenges that you face?
Okay, I'm only speaking for myself now, because others who have MS may not experience the same symptoms like me. So, on paper, they say 80% of us suffer from fatigue, and that is true. I think all of us do. So, actually fatigue is a big thing for us MS sufferers and MS warriors. I don't want to call them sufferers or patients, MS fighters like me. Because this fatigue is actually not the same as tiredness, which you can just get rid of by resting or just catching up on sleep. So this fatigue is a general lack of energy, and crudely speaking, like low battery, that can be so debilitating that it can prevent a person from functioning normally. I mean, I get that now and then, and this is, so these few weeks are bad for me because I'm getting that more than usual. And in general, I think my balance and sense of proprioception is poor. So even something normal people take for granted, like walking down a flight of stairs, can be challenging to me, because I have this feeling that I'm going to fall. I know the funny thing is most people don't notice it, because they think, oh, you're doing well, you're doing so well, I don't see anything. But when I come down a flight of stairs, in my heart, I'm actually screaming, oh my God, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall. Yeah. So some of my challenges, and Another big thing I think is brain fog as well. I think that bugs a lot of the other MS patients as well. I constantly feel like my world is cloudy and I'm slow to understand things that people tell me or respond to tasks or certain things that I'm supposed to do. But I'm getting better now. By doing what? Practicing my kids' primary school problem sums.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, right? Because since you were diagnosed, how has the condition, how do we say, moved on? Has it developed? Has it evolved?
Okay, in my 10 years of being diagnosed, I have had 2 relapses. Fortunately, just 2. I feel like my condition is ever changing because at the start, I felt that, like the symptoms like, fatigue and brain fog, and the other stuff I was talking about, balance, I felt that it was very, very bad and it really compromised me. But 5 years after I was diagnosed, after my initial diagnosis, I felt like things were getting a little better for me. Because I don't know if you have read on this concept of neuroplasticity, meaning that our brain is ever changing and new neural formations or connections can form if you do certain activities like running, exercising, reading, or playing music. I felt that I'm not sure, I may be just talking out loud, but I felt that my condition has changed because I have been doing these activities and perhaps some part of my brain has healed and new connections have formed, allowing me to, not heal completely or cure completely, but able to function better than I did before initially. Yeah.
Interesting. So how did you come upon, these methods of coping or managing or perhaps even some sort of therapy? Was it doctors who advised you, or you just tried them out and they seemed to work, or what?
Google. Everybody's best friend.
But that's the thing, Shannon, I think those are very, we think it's not rocket science, right? It's very, very fundamental
basic,
sorts of
correct.
things.
You need to eat well, sleep well, exercise. It's just basic stuff,
For anything at all, right? It works for any sort of condition. Okay, marvelous. And you did a video interview some years back about getting yourself fitter and running charity races and all that. Are you still doing that? And how's it going?
Okay. Last year I don't run individual races anymore because it's very lonely to run alone. So I came up with this, annual run, which is Run for MS. If you look us up on Facebook, there is a Run for MS Singapore Facebook that I started. So I started this run, which we do annually. So this run is actually done by MS, fighters like me. There are doctors, neurologists, there are nurses, the caregivers, volunteers. So we all come together and we do a run together. So usually we do it at the Stanchart Marathon. So we will run together and raise fund for the MS Assistance Fund, which is managed by NUHS. And then this provides financial assistance to MS patients because our drugs are really costly. So every year we do it, and then last year we did a virtual one whereby we clocked, our distances on our own watches and so on and so forth. And then, if I may say, we raised $58,395 last year for the MS Assistance Fund. So all of us, yeah.
Nice. Do you think there's enough? Are there enough support groups for people living with MS in Singapore? Because from a Google search, there seems to be only one.
Yes, there is. Yes, there's only one. No, there's not enough support groups for people living in MS. So MS, there's only MS Care at this moment, which is a voluntary support group for MS patients. We're actually meeting up for an online event tomorrow, where there will be games and then talks and all that. So anyway, when I did the video that I sent, the video that you saw, I guess the Singaporean of the Day video. So Jeff Cheong, the brainchild behind this series, he asked me what I would like to achieve for the MS community in Singapore. And I said my dream was to actually set up a national MS society. So I feel that this would be very helpful for creating awareness and to bring this awareness to a national level. Before the pandemic, I think there was some talk that this was going to happen. We are going to set up this national MS society, but the COVID and the situation, I think plans have been delayed. So yeah, hopefully we can start working on it again when the situation improves, I think. Yeah.
Are you still working full time as a veterinarian?
Yes, I'm working, but not full-time. I'm working part-time now, but nothing to do with MS. Not directly lah. I just wanted more time with family because my condition is so unpredictable. Like, who knows when my next relapse will be. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so family life, how has it been? I mean, has it been more difficult to keep up with your kids as they grow up or no?
Actually, I think other than when I'm having the relapse and I am my mobility is affected, I think I'm doing okay. I can still run with them. I can still play video games with them. So
great. Yeah. And we all have our moments anyway. So I mean, you're entitled to your moments.
Yeah. I think the hard part is when I suffer the relapse, because seeing how the children fear when they see me like that, I think that's the hardest part.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you thought about if MS may be hereditary and what do we know about this for now?
Okay, I have definitely thought about that before. So I consulted Mr. Google again. So I'm a scientist, right? So I try to base my fears on facts and figures. So what we know is that it cannot be inherited. Although there's a risk of developing the condition if your parent or your sibling has MS. So I think getting MS is a combination of a little bit genetics and environmental factors. So not necessarily 100% hereditary.
This Sunday, 30th May, is World Multiple Sclerosis Day, and we have Shannon Hyo on Nightlife with us, who is an advocate for those with multiple sclerosis as a survivor and fighter herself.